Good morning, students. Welcome to session of chapter 2 from textbook Beehive. The chapter 2, The Sound of Music, which we have already done part 1 last week, where we were discussing about Evelyn Glennie, who was a wonderful artist playing drums and xylophone. Now the second part is also about a great artist who used to play a musical instrument called Shehnai. So the chapter Sound of Music is a non-fiction genre. Genre means which type of text is this? The writing, any writing literature, any literature is generally bifurcated in different categories, whether it's a fiction or non-fiction. Fiction means something which is not true, which is made as a fantasy story or a historical story or a scientific fiction, and non-fiction means which is true. So here we are dealing with the true experiences of two artists, so it is called as non-fiction, and because we are discussing them, it's called as a biography. So we come to part 2, biography of Bismillah Khan, the well-known artist from India. We are not given the writer's name here. Now we'll discuss who are the people discussed in this part 2, since it is dealing with the artist called Bismillah Khan. So we are generally finding some experiences of Bismillah Khan as a childhood, as a grown person, where all he had visited, which people he had met, who are the people who discussed him. So those are the people that we have found in this chapter. So it is Bismillah Khan. We also see Bismillah Khan's father called Paigambar Bakhsh. We find Bismillah Khan's grandfather called Rasul Bakhsh Khan. He was also the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur's court. So basically Bismillah Khan belonged to a family who were all involved in Shehnai playing of this musical instrument. Bismillah Khan's maternal uncle, means his mother's brother, also was a Shehnai player. His uncle called Ali Bakhsh was a Shehnai player at Vishnu temple of Benares. And then we also come across all these other persons called Ustad Faiz Khan, King Zahir Shah of Afghanistan, Vijay Bhatt and Vikram Srinivas of Celluloid World Films. Celluloid is referred to in this part 2, where celluloid means the film industry, the film world. Okay. Now some words we will discuss. Solitude. Solitude means when one person is alone, we say he is in solitude. Apprentice means a person who's taking a training is called as apprentice, like a trainee. So when a person does some course and he has to go for some special training related to the course, then we call him apprentice. Haunts means a place which is visited frequently is called as haunts, like a hangout. A hangout means a place where you go generally and often you go. So that is called as haunts. Replicating means when you make some structures, the real structures, when you make some structures to look like some other, which are familiar to some other structures already existing. So it's like a duplicate one, making something which to look like some structures which are already in existence. Then we are replicating them, means we are making a replica, means we are making something to look like something which is already in existence. So these are the words that we come across. Apart from that, there are many other words which have been discussed in the text. So you will go to the textbook and see those word meanings given and try to learn and understand them. Now we come to the summary as to this part 2, as I said, basically refers to Bismillah Khan's story of his childhood, of his success. Like we've seen, the chapter Sound of Music is a non-fiction biography of well-known artists Evelyn Glennie and Bismillah Khan. Their true stories of how they struggled and achieved their laurels, how they got the rewards, achievements, the success. And basically we are learning so that we get inspired from them, and we also try to make ourselves also in the same kind of framework and achieve some good success in our life. So their struggles and hard work inspire us to never give up till we achieve goals. So we should also learn from them that we should never give up and try to achieve our goals. So part 2 about well-known Bismillah Khan, who played Shehnai, the musical instrument. Now we go ahead to understand about Shehnai, how this Shehnai, the musical instrument, came into existence. So we go back to the history in earlier years where we had emperors, and that time there used to be a musical instrument called pungi. Now this generally had a very unpleasant sound, and so there are some stories to say that the emperor of those times, there was Emperor Aurangzeb, who didn't like the pleasant sound of this instrument called pungi, and so he had almost like stopped playing of this instrument. So there was a barber from there was a barber who used to come to a family of musicians. So he thought of innovating this instrument, and he took a stick and he converted into he made some 7 holes, and he tried to blow air, and this way it came up with something nice sound. And then when it was played again in the court of the emperors, everyone was very shocked and happy to see such a nice sound. So the unpleasant sound was replaced with a nice sound. Hence now this instrument was given a name called Shehnai. So the story says that because it was made by a barber, so it was called Nai, and because it was played for the first time at the court of the emperor, who was Emperor Aurangzeb Shah, so it was called as Shehnai. And now no more it was considered something to be not used in the court, but in fact it was considered as more auspicious. Auspicious means something which should be played in or good occasions of some marriages or weddings, some nice ceremonies. Shehnai was in fact started being used. So, and the fact that earlier Shehnai, when it started being used, it was played only at royal courts, temples and weddings, but now Shehnais were also played as classical music, and it was played with great honor and prestige on stages. So this credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, that we're going to read about, that because of his efforts and because of his playing the instrument so well, that the instrument was not only played at courts and temples and weddings, but it soon was considered as a classical music, and it used to be played on stages. So that is the change that was brought by Bismillah Khan. He was born on 21st March 1916, and he passed away on 21st August 2006. Now he belonged to a family where all of them were all good Shehnai players, and at age of 3, when he was small enough, he used to go along with his maternal uncle Ali Baks. This uncle used to play Shehnai at Vishnu Temple of Benares, and slowly Bismillah Khan also used to watch all the time, going regularly with him, and he also would start practice playing Shehnai, and this way he used to enjoy, and he learned so well, and that he in fact he introduced more ragas into Shehnai, and he used to enjoy playing Shehnai along by the side of the Ganga river, and he used to often go to some places nearby that were the temple of Balaji and temple of Mangala Maiya, and he used to often remain there and practice. Then again at age of 5, he used to go to a temple, Bihariji temple, to sing Bhojpuri Chaita, and because he used to recite so well that the emperor, the Maharaja over there used to give him a big laddu every time he used to play. So these are like small achievements that he'd already got from his childhood. Then we come across that at the age of 14, he had gone to Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle, and there again when he played, there was Ustad Fayaz Khan, who was so impressed with his recital that he appreciated his performance. And later on, Bismillah Khan used to also play on radio when All India Radio channel started in Lucknow in 1938. From then onwards, he used to very regularly play on radio. This way, soon Bismillah Khan was becoming popular. Then on 15 August 1947, the day of independence, also, Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to get this honor of playing Shehnai, as the first Indian who played Shehnai, to greet this rejoiceful day. And he played Rag Kafi from Red Fort to all the people, and there we also had our then Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who then gave his famous speech, Tryst with Destiny, after the Shehnai was played. And now coming towards the other phases of his life, when he used to also make foreign trips. So the first trip was to Afghanistan, where when he played again a Shehnai, King Zahir Shah over there was so impressed that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and many other souvenirs. Bismillah Khan also was offered to perform in films, and in a couple of films he had performed. And in fact, Vijay Bhatt was so impressed that he named a movie after his name, and it was called as Gunj Uthi Shehnai. And again he was offered in a Kannada film also to perform, but Bismillah Khan did not venture much in films in this celluloid world, because he was not happy with the artificiality and the glamour there. In the artificial world, he was not happy. He was very modest and simple, so he enjoyed his simple living along the banks of Ganga river. He was conferred with many national awards like Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, the Padma Vibhushan, and Bharat Ratna. He was very fond of Benares and Dumrao, these two cities, and the river Ganga, that it is said that once he refused to even take the leadership of a Shehnai training school, where one student of his wanted to start a training school in USA. So he offered him to take this initiative in USA and begin a training school there. But and he also promised, and because he said that no, I cannot leave India because I'm so fond of Benares and Dumrao. So he said that now mine, I'll also make replica of Benares temples in USA so that you don't miss them over there. So Bismillah remarked that could he also bring river Ganga to USA? So that shows that he was so obsessed and he loved to remain with his country and his cities like Benares and Dumrao. And also it is said that at the time of partition of India and Pakistan, again he refused to take his family to Pakistan because he never wanted to leave India. So this way Ustad Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of you can say, displaying a rich cultural heritage of India. And he, though he was a Muslim who believed in his religion very rigidly, but he also played, very surprisingly, Shehnai, which very naturally every morning at Kashi Vishwanath temple. So music does not follow any race or any religion. So this way we have understood the biography in a little short and a quick manner. You will read the ebook pages, the ebook which I will send to you, and some more videos for your further understanding. You will note down all this which is given in this sheet in your notebook right from the beginning, the way I have given, and then after writing all this along with the summary, then you will solve the worksheet in the same notebook. Thank you.